I will die on that hill.
I absolutely love Miley Cyrus.
You have failed this.
Love this show.
The sickest night ever.
Is this? What are we doing?
No. Hello, everybody, and welcome back to the Call Guys podcast. I'm Gunner, also known as Chico Noise, 3-time podcast host, and welcome to part 2 of our 5-part rewatchable series. This week, we are covering a movie that we both love and enjoy. Unlike last week, where Colton kind of crapped on a movie that I have loved my entire life. Colton, do you have anything to say about that? Do you have anything to say about why you hate the Goonies? I get a call yesterday with a random. I get this call. Listen, I get this random call from Colton, and he just goes, "Okay, are you there?" And I'm like, "Yeah." And then everybody blows up. We got Jake and Jordan both in the phone call, ripping on Colton for his bad take on the Goonies. And listen, I understand it's not a movie for everybody, and I did explain that I've loved it since I was a kid. But Colton, it's okay. I'm not mad at you for not liking the Goonies. It's an opinion. You know how it goes. I'm just trying to get heated here because I always get yelled at because I don't have strong opinions. I need to be more heated on this podcast. I need to have better, stronger, harder takes, and I need to yell at Colton for his bad takes because he's always yelling at me for my bad takes. So here you go. I'm dishing it out. I'm dishing it out to you, looking right at the camera because now you know how I feel. I love the Goonies. It's right there. See it on the wall. Jake, Jordan, love you guys. Great to talk to you on the phone. Colton, thanks for including me in the conversation.
I just wanted you to get a glimpse of what I have to deal with on a week in, week out basis with those two.
Yeah.
The Goonies sucks. So
come on, it's not that.
I was being nice. I was being generous. It is on your wall, brother. It is literally one of my wife's favorite movies. She quotes it. She loves it. And I was taking a soft take on it because I didn't want to sound inconsiderate. But you know what?
That's right.
Now that you have woken up the dragon here, guess what, boss? I'm here. So from now on, we'll not be holding back the tongue. The Goonies, overrated movie. It is a typical 80s movie. There is nothing special about this movie. It is, if anything, it is a start to a lot of careers in the industry. So I really have to applaud the Goonies for just being anything more than just a stepping stool for certain actors.
Stepping stool?
So,
step stool.
Yeah,
okay,
who cares?
Okay, I do want to say I do want to
good?
say one thing about the Goonies. I love the Goonies. I appreciate you watching it, but we discussed this list of movies we're going to be watching for this 5-part series before we actually even started recording. And Colton agreed, but I think it was because his wife was sitting there and said, "I love the Goonies," so he just agreed to it. So he could have nixed it. He could have nixed it right off the start. But I think, myself, it was a great start to this. And I think that's a good thing because it kind of gives the variation of opinions between you and me, what's rewatchable and what's not rewatchable. So
I just got a text message. I literally just got a text message.
Uh-oh.
I literally just got a text message. So yes, and I think to answer that question, yes, it has been brought. We are here. It's on right there. That is the answer to the text message right then and there. I just received. So you know what? I'm ready to go. I'm amped up, Gunner. Let's get this pod on the roll. Let's go.
Okay. Are you going to tell us what the text message was?
It was from a certain listener who had just called us out, who you messed up by, giving him a platform. Now that I say this, everybody knows who I'm probably talking about at this point in time. And you better bring that energy tonight is what I got. That is the text I just got after you just brought it.
Oh, wow.
Brought it back. So here we are.
The energy is here.
Energy is here. The energy has shifted. Okay?
I love it.
On.
That's kind of crazy. You get a text during my little rant there. That's
literally, it was fantastic.
Yeah. That's awesome.
Fantastic.
That's awesome.
I'm at a loss for words. I'm ready to go. I'm about ready to drive to someone's house and start a fight.
Well, everybody Welcome to the Call Guys podcast. I already said that once, but welcome. Sorry about my little rant there. I just it's been sitting
Don't
in
be sorry. Don't be
it's
sorry,
been
Gunner.
it's
You
been sitting
don't
in the
be
back of my mind.
sorry. Don't be sorry.
They don't expect this from me. They expect it from you.
That's so true.
Every movie on this wall, if you're watching on YouTube, in my opinion, are they're my top 10 favorite movies of all time. Doesn't mean they're the greatest movies of all time. So I stand in the lane of The Goonies is an amazing film from the 80s. Sure, it's typical 80s. It's typical 80s movie. It's got all of it's like if you could copy and paste the scripts from the 80s, it's probably what you would get if you put into an AI 80s movie about kids hunting treasure. That's probably what you get the Goonies.
80s kids movie. The Goonies
Yeah.
pops out.
Yeah. So
The Goonie is crapped out of the machine.
it's printed on paper. It comes out in a beautiful stack into a script, and it probably comes out bound and or stapled all together. Easy to flip the pages. Great read because it's a great script. Okay.
The first page literally says this movie will make money 20 years from now. That's it.
Hey, that's a good thing. Congrats. People are probably still buying the DVD off the. People probably have the VHS tapes on a shelf in their houses because they loved it so much.
I mean, that's a bit of a stretch, but that's okay. You believe what you want to believe.
All right. Well, we'll get off the Goonies. But everybody that listened last week, thanks for the listens, thanks for the feedback, everything like that. We really enjoyed doing the episode. I'm hoping that maybe since now we've both understand that this needs to be a more heated conversation, maybe these episodes will get a little bit more intense than the last one. Colton just agreeing with everything I said pretty much the whole last episode.
Hey, it can't be. It's still better than the Lucas episode.
Yeah. Love you, Lucas. Hope you're feeling better, buddy. I know you weren't feeling too hot today, so hope you're feeling better by the time this comes out. Hopefully. Yeah, but Colton, how's it going, man? How's your week been going? Anything exciting going on? We had a good 75-degree day with some rain. We've had some crazy thunderstorms. How's it
Man,
been
we
going
haven't
for
got
you?
any of those thunderstorms.
I don't know. There's
I mean,
like
we-
one
I
night
mean-
we did, but
I know we got rain, but not like what they were calling for.
yeah.
We got new furniture at the house, so that's exciting. So, furniture in
Nice.
the upstairs living room, so that's nice. I mean, outside of that, dad life, husband
life.
life.
Bad life. Yeah.
Just been watching movies. I think I've watched Shaun of the Dead once every week for the last like 3 weeks now, and I don't know why.
You
I
need a
don't know.
Shaun of the Dead poster on the wall.
Dude, I wanted to get I want to get a sleeve so bad, but my problem is that my arm is long. I got long arms. Okay, people? I got long arms. One of these days, Gunnar and I are going to take pictures together. We're going to post them.
No, we're gonna
And
do
you
a
c-
standing up episode next to each other.
Okay, we might do that too, but we're going to need like 3 cameras for that.
Yeah, 3
2
angles.
close-ups and a wide out.
No, it's all wide angle. It's all wide. Just
Oh God. Anywho.
yeah.
So my thing is that I would love to have a sleeve, but my arm is long. I don't know what to fill it with because I don't want to just do like the ocean or flowers or clocks or eyes, something weird like that, and just fill up my arm that way. So I actually came up with this tattoo idea that would take up like the bottom part from like my elbow down. And one of the things on there was our cornetto,
Mm-hmm.
which is an ice cream cone essentially. It's essentially a drumstick, okay?
Yeah.
And around it, on the top, it has like red, like the chocolate is red, and it's dripping down, and it's got like a ribbon that goes around the cone, and it has Shaun of the Dead, Hot Fuzz, At World's End on it, and it's a really, really cool idea that I saw on the internet. I was like, oh man, that'd be so awesome. I would so get that, but my wife has no
Says
desire.
no way. Yeah.
She has no desire for me to get any more tats. So
maybe I should
we are
have,
part team tatted, so
yeah, maybe I should have my sister design something with every one of my top 10 movies to do. Because or anybody that knows, my sister does tattoos and she does them on the side. She just does them for fun pretty much. And she's done a couple on me just as a canvas pretty much to just practice. And so I have my Chiefs tattoo on my arm and she did the Roman numerals. So I got to get my other 3 Roman numerals for winning the Super Bowl this year. And I'm also going to do a tribal wolf for the Chiefs mascot underneath it. But I was thinking that
Wolfie.
Wolfie, I'm gonna do that tribal wolf on there. I'm thinking I'm gonna do something with my top 10 movies eventually too.
That would
Each
be
of those
awesome.
movies has something that would be perfect for it. I just would have to figure out what and how to design it. But it's got to be professionally done. I mean, there's no way I'd want it to be. I mean, my sister does a really good job.
You don't want it
But
Montana approved.
yeah, some of her work that she's done on herself is just incredible. I just want to make sure it looks like something I'd want it to look like. So, yeah, tattoos. I'm ready for another one. I need her to come do that tribal wolf in my Roman numerals, but
Yeah, I'd
yeah.
like to get some more, but I just don't think the wife is gonna let me go for it.
That's okay. How many you got?
2. I got my ribs done.
Yeah. I've got 6,
Dang.
and they're all over the place.
Oh.
Speaking of my 6 tattoos, 2 of them are from the records on my walls, on my wall that I just put up this week. Inside, I have the Bo Burnham tattoo, and then 30 Seconds to Mars, I have the triangle on my chest. I mean, none of my tattoos have any real deep meaning. They're all just things I love. So, but yeah, good stuff.
Mm.
Good stuff. But yeah,
Sad
I
days.
don't know. I don't know where that conversation started. How your
I
week
don't
has
know.
been
I
going.
don't know
But
either. I don't
my
know
weekend,
either.
my week's been going great. We're recording this on Thursday. Tomorrow is Good Friday, and I'm sure you have some big plans for Easter, Colton. I
Mhm.
think we're going to the Skywalkers and Jess's house for Easter
Nice.
lunch. And then we're doing some. I don't know what we're doing Saturday. Probably cleaning and stuff. But the week's been great. Like I said, we had a warm day and it was just beautiful. And I mean, work's been fine and life's been great. So I'm
Sweet, man. That's
excited.
awesome.
I'm ready to talk about what we're going to talk about tonight, but we do have some emails to hit on. We have some stuff I want to talk about real quick before we get into the movie, which is going to be the Mighty Ducks 2 D2. So, Colton, emails or what I want to talk about? You pick.
Let's do emails.
All right, let's do it.
Here we go. Longtime emailer here, Chris, our friend of the show.
CT1209.
Titles: Lord of the Rings. Now, I've only read this twice now, but the first time I read this, I was concerned because it starts like this. Concerning hobbits, I had no intention of emailing you this week, but you have forced my hand. Usually when that comes out of Chris's mouth via the keyboard, he's going to blow something up, aka usually me in a take.
Yep.
But then I read, I enjoy, adore, and champion The Lord of the Rings. My man. Now, if another fan emails about this and hasn't had the opportunity to be a guest, by all means, place them on the seat of honor, lest the throne of Gondor remain empty in the White City. But if you want someone to come on and talk about the incredible works of Tolkien and Jackson, who has read and listened to the books, watched the films, owns a replica Andrew, and will gladly explain the misstep of Aragorn's character change or why Tolkien chose the phrase "full of a took," by all means, I am readily available. I am so excited to hear that you fine gentlemen are experiencing something you love in a new way. I cannot wait to hear your thoughts on some of the bigger changes in the latter books, or knowing how the original material furthers your love of the work. Farewell, and may the blessing of elves and men and all free folk go with you. May the stars shine upon your faces, Elron. Chris, fantastic email. Did not know you were ride or die here with the Lord of the Rings, but that's awesome. I'm sure you
Yes.
probably mentioned it somewhere along the lines, but like I said, yeah, no, that's awesome. Yeah, I am almost done with Two Towers. Gunnar has kind of just started. He's a little bit into Two Towers. It is fantastic. Man, the books. Every time I listen to the books, I'm like, man, why wasn't that in the movie? Like
Yeah.
I have so many good things about the books, and now I'm kind of getting a little upset with the movies.
Yeah. Yeah. I understand that.
And I really enjoy the movies. That's the problem. Like, oh man. But I understand. Chris, I'll say this. We actually do have a guest who is lined up
That
to
has not
be
been on.
who has not been on, correct, who has not been on. They are currently reading the books now, and when he gets done with the first book, I think we're gonna have him on. We're gonna do an episode, or do you want to do all three?
No,
Gunner?
we're gonna do a book and episode because
I
a
was gonna
book and a
say
movie, a book and a movie and episode.
I think we could make that work.
Yeah.
Um, Chris, I'd love to have you on. If something happens, or maybe it's the last book and movie, I don't know. We can get the four of us on. We'll figure it out. We'll work out the details. Maybe get you on for your non Star Wars episode.
Yes. And
So-
make it the other return.
Oh, that's funny. That's funny. No, Chris, thank you again, as always, taking time out of your day to email us at thecallguyspodcast@gmail.com. Always enjoy reading an email from you, man. So keep it up.
There's only one return, and it's not of the king. It's of the Jedi.
It's of the Jedi. That's right. That's a good line.
It is. I appreciate it, Chris.
Yes,
Appreciate
Chris,
it.
thank you. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. The next one we got. Quick question is the title.
Quick question.
If anybody knows this person, there is no such thing as a quick question.
No. Steak.
Starts out, gentlemen, long-time listener, first-time emailer, lie.
Lies.
Love the pod. You guys are awesome, and party on, Garth. Just wanted to drop a line and a question of the pod. Thank you, sir, for doing our work. Really appreciate it.
That's right.
If you are driving down a highway alone in your car and you turn the radio on and push scan, what is the one song that the radio lands on that you will stop the scan and belt your heart out? You know every lyric and are not ashamed to lift your voice high to the car gods to serenade your stretch of highway. Gunner, Hunter, you can go first.
Thanks, Jordan. I mean, Jake. I have two answers. The first one, and you hear this in every intro to the Call Guys podcast, is I absolutely love Miley Cyrus. And I will belt out any Miley Cyrus song that comes on. I loved Endless Summer Vacation. It was the little the backyard concert she put on Disney Plus. Absolutely amazing. Anything Miley comes on, I'm singing it. I always have loved Miley, and she just keeps putting out great music. The other one is a song by Nothing More called Fade In, Fade Out. And if that song comes on Octane on Sirius XM, every word of that song, and it is such a good heartfelt song about a kid losing his dad and then growing old and then him dying and his son being the next one in line. And it's an absolutely amazing song. And I could sing it every time. It touches you deep in the heart, and it's got great lyrics. And that Nothing More is just a phenomenal band. Jared could tell you all about them. First time we saw them was at what was Klipsch down in Indianapolis, and we were out in the car pre-gaming before we went in, and sitting outside the car, just kind of tailgating, I guess you would call it. It really wasn't tailgating, but. And we heard the music and we're like, what is that Nothing More playing? And we're like, well, it's just got to be over the speakers. They're just playing random music, right? They were like, no, that's live. So we like ran inside and got in like within the first 2 songs of their set, and they were absolutely amazing. And just watching them was awesome. So there's my answer. Sorry, long answer.
Man, yeah, I was gonna, I'm a loud singer in the car, so if I just know the song, that's how I sing in the car. It doesn't have to be
Anything?
any, yeah, it could be anything. I'll be honest, the first song that came to mind was "Take Me Home Tonight" by Eddie Money, so got that going for me.
Nice.
And then I went with the every typical, 30-year-old punk rocker, little Panic at the Disco. I write sins, not tragedies, you
Oh
go that
yeah,
way. And then
that
you
pops on.
got,
You're singing it.
oh yeah. And then you got Tom Sawyer, that always is overplayed on the radio. Yeah, that bass line. Ba-dun-dun. Today's Tom Sawyer, mean, dry.
Yep.
I mean, music is just like my love language, and I enjoy listening. And if I know the song, I'm just gonna go. It could be anything. I wish I had a better answer, a more broader answer, a concrete answer for you listeners out there. But I just love all music, man. It's all good. If I can understand it, I'm in. The only music that I'm okay with not understanding is Spanish music because I just love the flow, the sound of it.
Oh yeah, Spanish
I think
guitar.
I think it's the most beautiful, beautiful non-English music there is. I
Nice.
said that, and I will die on that hill.
Die on it.
Thanks for asking, Juan. Mine would be "I Want It That Way" by the Backstreet Boys. Of
Mm.
course it would be. Thank you for sharing your musical taste with the listeners. Keep up the great work. See you soon. Snake Plissken.
Snake, snake, snake.
Thank
Oh,
you. Thank
yeah.
you. Thank you for emailing us at thecallguyspodcast at gmail.com. Appreciate your time. I hope you have a wonderful day.
I do want to say to Snake, can't wait to have you back on. I'm excited to see what episode we get you back on for next. I'm sure something in our list here is going to be appealing to you.
Jog on.
Jog on. But I also want to say I'm super excited for episode 100 and having him back on for that too, and hopefully we can get him back in his get up for that one. We'll play a little dress up. So
I had so much hair in my truck when he came in. I swear the whole time I was like, God, Bree is gonna see all this hair, all this long brunette hair. She's gonna be, whose hair is this? Whose hair is this?
whose hair is this in your car? Whose hair is in your truck?
Then I'd have to explain it was Jake in a wig, and I don't know. She probably would believe it.
Yeah, well, she would believe it. All right, we have another email. ISO Cam is back. This is like week 4 in a row, so keep them coming, Cam. We loving the emails, man. I love that you're sending them pretty much every week now. He said, I was just wondering, as a kid, almost every male loves wrestling. Did you guys have a favorite WWE wrestler? I've always been a fan of The Miz. Yeah, I did, and it was The Rock.
Nice.
And or Mankind. I always love Mankind too. But my dad can attest to that. I love The Rock ever since I saw him WWE. So
Nice. I don't know if I was a WWE fan. I think I was I think because I had a video, I really wasn't a big wrestler fan. I mean, I remember going to, my uncle took me as a child. We were in Tennessee. We were in the Burger King parking lot of some Walmart, and they were doing wrestling out in the parking lot. And I remember we went, and I got so sick that night. It's a great memory that me and my uncle have there. But I think Monday Night Raw, I had a video game that had the Raw. And I think it was Booker T, Diamond Dallas Page, or were they WWE, part of the WWE? I don't
man,
know.
I don't know.
But those were my favorite 2 wrestlers in that game, was Diamond Dallas Page and Booker T.
It might have been WWF at the time.
Oh, it might have been. I don't know.
Yeah,
Like
because
I mean, I know nothing of wrestling.
yeah, I don't know much anymore, and That's pretty much the only reason we haven't done a whole full episode on wrestling. But he also says, P.S. I have seen the Goonies like once in my whole life, and if I had to choose a favorite scene, it would be the average old stereotype of the brother always working out, trying to be a badass. Gets me every time. And my favorite character is the little Inspector Gadget guy. Data. That's funny. Data. Farewell, and as always, keep your stick on the ice.
Love it.
Yeah. Thank you, Cam. Thank you for the email. Come back next week. Bring us another one. Let us know if you're watching the Ducks this week, man. Let us know what you think of the movie. I hope you watch the Goonies. I'd love to know if you actually watched the Goonies after listening to the episode and what your thoughts were on it after listening. Maybe you had the same feelings Colton did.
It's a great feeling to have, Gunner. You're going to be just fine.
Well, I'll tell you what, this next emailer has the same feelings you do. So let's listen. Listen to me read from a quart of books and booze, Amanda's email. Amanda, who has been a long time Call Guys listener, she loves the pod, and I love that she listens. She was messaging me all night tonight about watching the Mighty Ducks, which is awesome. I'm glad you're watching.
Let's go.
And I appreciate you listening. I appreciate you being a part of the Golden Mojo Entertainment Network of podcasts. Amanda, you're awesome. And hey, I sent you the email that Spring Tea sent back to me. I just want to say, Spring Tea, I run the shop. I create the designs. I put everything on there. Why don't you let me help my customers out? Talking straight to you. Yeah, you hear me. I message them and they say, hey, we can't do anything because it's a customer's order. But I'm trying to help them out. I'm trying to get them a replacement sweatshirt because your logo washed off in the first wash. Come on, man.
Help me help you.
Exactly. I'm trying to help you out. So Amanda, hopefully you can get that figured out. I'd love for you to get a sweatshirt that's not going to fade after the first wash. So, and we are working on getting that fixed, I promise. I just haven't gotten around to it yet. So she says, hey friends, I gotta say, I am excited to hear how much you both are loving the audiobook for Lord of the Rings. This is a series I haven't yet had the motivation to dive into yet, but I am definitely planning on reading at some point. Maybe we can get you guys on our podcast at some point to discuss it.
Done.
I think so. Done deal. Once you guys get in Lord of the Rings. I know the Skywalkers read it. He owned the entire 6.5 foot tall book that was the same size as Colton. So she says, your previous episode inspired me to watch The Goonies. I don't think I have watched this movie since I was like 11 or 12. I do love going back to older movies and seeing some of the actors' earlier pieces of work. However, I do think I'm with Colton on this. Never heard that in a sentence ever before in my life. I didn't grow up with the movie, and I don't think I'll be anxious to watch it again anytime soon. No hate on the movie, though. Chunk is definitely my favorite character. As always, I love your podcast and excited to hear the next episode in the series.
I just want to make a statement right now.
Bring it.
Quarter Books and Booze is a Friday part of the Empire. They release on Fridays. They're bi-weekly. They have this cute little milk and cookies edition to fill in the other weeks. Jess, don't really know much about you. Haven't really conversed with you, hung out with you.
You guys share a birthday, man.
I know we are birthday buddies, so we have that. So you can't be that bad of a person, okay? Can't be that bad. Can't be. I don't care what Skylar says. Skywalker, I watched Hustle. The movie sucks. Movie is just terrible. Do not ever recommend that movie to me ever again. Okay? It is a terrible movie. There are only like 2 scenes in that whole movie where Adam Sandler convinces me that he is an actor. Okay? He did that one just so he can be close to the NBA for a couple months. Okay? That's the only reason why he did this movie. You're welcome. Then we have Amanda, the beautiful soul that is Amanda. Thank you so much for listening to us. Thank you so much for just taking my side and what that means to me as the one man who dies on every hill alone. So it is nice to know that someone else is willing to die on that hill. We are, I don't know what we're doing right now. This is good content for YouTube. So check us out on YouTube. Oh, booing. Oh, I see it now. Yeah, it finally came into focus.
Yeah. If it was hooked up, it would have been booing the whole time.
No, Amanda, Quarter Books and Booze, thank you so much. You guys are awesome. You guys are killing it. Keep it up. Thank you again for taking the time, Amanda, to email us. And yeah, Gunnar, I kind of just stole that ending for you, so I'll let you
That's
go.
all right. Hey, like we say every single week on this podcast, we love reading the emails. I think that's one of our favorite parts of each episode. And having emails every week is just super fun to go back and read. And we don't actually read them until we get, right before we start recording. So if the episode comes out on Mondays, if you listen to the episode and you have a chance to send the email before we record on Thursdays, please do. We'd enjoy getting any emails from anybody. And if you have the time to send one, please do. The thecallguyspodcast@gmail.com. Everybody that does send emails every week, we really do appreciate it. And we hope that you keep on sending them. And yeah. So
Yeah.
let's move on. Let's move on to some stuff that has come out this week that
Yes.
I do want to talk about. The first one I want to hit on before. So I have a movie I want to talk about, and I have some trailers I want to talk about. And I know you have a trailer you want to talk about. So Super Mario Bros. Came out this week. Came out on Wednesday. This past Wednesday. Reviews are obviously in the dumps. And I'm gonna say I'm not surprised, 100% not surprised. But at the same time, I've talked to some people about the movie that haven't seen the movie, but have watched people review them on YouTube. Chris actually being one of those people, and he watches some people that really review and get into the movies without spoiling them. And one of the guys he was talking to me about said that this movie is a movie that you go to because you are a fan of Mario, right? But at the same time, take your kids because it is a movie you want to take your kids to. It's a movie your kids will really enjoy. It's probably a movie that you're going to go into just to watch, and it's not going to be something that you actually take anything from. It's just a movie you're going to go enjoy. There's nothing crazy with it. There's some really cool like Easter eggs, but at the same time, it's just a movie. So it's like you said, it's a movie your kids are gonna love, and you might not love as much as they do, and that's okay. It doesn't need to be something that's a great plot, a great story. Who plays Mario for the plot, right? There's no. I mean, you save the princess. That's it. Like that's what you're working towards. There's no real plot in Mario, so you got to write it. You got to make a script that works. So that came out this week. It's got some really, here and there reviews, but I enjoy the people that are looking at it in kind of the limelight saying like, this movie is not made to make you think. It's a movie you go to watch to have fun. So that's why I'm excited to go see it. I think we should go see it together and actually talk about it. Maybe it'd be a fun one to do a review on. So
For sure. No, I'm going in with the expectation that it is a fun movie.
yeah,
I have no expectations for this movie to be amazing, to be awesome. I've said this a couple times. I wish my kid was older so I could take him to this movie because I
yeah,
do like Mario. I mean, I grew up, I've got so many good Mario stories just from my family, and I can't wait to watch down. It'll probably obviously you'll be older and have it at the house and have it be a Friday movie night or
yeah.
something. Like I have no expectations of this movie just to be fun. As long as that movie is fun, it's going to be a good movie.
Well, and we've talked about in way early episodes of the Call Guys podcast when I think you first bought your Switch at the beginning of this podcast. And I mean, that's been over a year ago at this
Oh
point.
yeah.
And, we used to talk about it quite a bit, but I mean, we play a lot of Mario Party, a lot of Mario Kart, like, and all the emulators they have now where you can play Super Mario Bros. 3 and,
Yep.
Super Mario 3D for the 64, Super Mario 64.
Yep.
Couldn't think of what it's
Just
called.
Super Mario.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I mean,
I've got the Game Boy emulator, and it's
Yeah.
got a Super Mario game on that, and that's a great story for my family. Is that my mom would play that game all the time, and my dad would come home and something wouldn't get done. My mom would blame us, and then we would get the Game Boy taken away, and then she would just have all control over it. I swear
She'd be
she set
playing
us up
Mario.
sometimes. She set us up. She set us up.
Yeah.
It's a
Nice.
hill I'm willing to die on.
So Mario came out this week. We also had some trailers come out this week. Blue Beetle, which Logan was hard hitting on us for in our group chat. It looks interesting. I've actually never really read up on Blue Beetle. I don't know a whole lot about him. Movie looks kind of fun. Excited to see it when it does come out. I don't know what else to really say because I don't know much about the character. And I know Colton doesn't care because it's DC, so we can really just skip over Blue Beetle.
I mean, oh gosh. I mean, just get the old ears some air here so they can breathe because they're burning right now.
And burn.
It looks interesting. I watched the trailer a couple times, and honestly, the first thing I thought of was a nicer version of Venom. Venom with a nicer AI is what I think I might have said, or something like that. And cool. Hope it goes well. I'm sure it will.
You won't watch it though, probably.
No.
Yeah.
No, unless I get on this DC kick because I'm ticked at Marvel and I want to get back in the superhero role. But I mean, Marvel is just. I mean, I feel like we could just do an episode on the state of Marvel, not even talk about anything, and just because I feel like that we're both running on Marvel fumes, and I think that's putting it lightly. And
well, I will say I think Marvel put some gas in the tank this week. I think they put a little bit of gas in the tank, and that was Secret Invasion. They put out a trailer.
my issue with Secret Invasion is that I hate the Skrull storyline.
Yeah,
I don't like it. I feel like, to me, it's a cop out and will be lazy writing eventually, if it already hasn't been. I just don't like the Skrulls. I don't like that storyline because I feel like it gives too many opportunities for a cop out, and it's already happened.
too many opportunities to be like She-Hulk, where they can just be like, "Well, this actually wasn't this person.
Yeah, like
It was somebody else."
Spider-Man,
Yeah.
No Way Home,
Yeah,
prime example. What do you mean? That's not Nick Fury.
yeah. Far
Stupid.
from home.
Far From Home. Yeah,
Yeah,
perfect.
Yep, you're good. You're good. No, I completely understand that. I do think the trailer looked pretty interesting. I think it's gonna be a really cool, like, not really procedural, but kind of like the other end of that, like a heist kind of show, or not really a heist, but like a searching for somebody kind of show. Like
I feel like this is more like a lone wolf who has a team but doesn't think he doesn't want his team, but it turns out at the end he gets his team, and that's how kind of the storyline is going to go. Because I think they got the right people for this series.
Yeah.
They're not adding. I'm not saying they're not adding anybody new, but at least they're sticking with the continuity of certain people who are already within the universe around Nick Fury, and putting them into this show, and they're not just adding somebody because they couldn't get somebody.
Exactly.
So
I think it could be interesting in the scheme of Marvel. You just see Nick Fury come back to Earth and see what he has to deal with when he comes back for the first time, since he's technically dead. But I don't know. It'll be interesting. The other one that I have, actually you technically have, I guess, would be. You want to explain it?
Okay, so shout out to my boy Joel. I know he's not listening. I don't think anybody's family will ever hear this, but we as seniors were on our basketball team. We deemed ourselves the two best players, and we thought we had control of the music for warm-ups before a game. And the songs we wanted to pick, we wanted to do one of the songs we wanted to do. We wanted to do Spice Girls, and we were going to come out and we were going to do a lip syncing version of "I'll Tell You What I Want, What I Really Really Want." And we had motions down, we had moves, we had it all, and then on the really 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 want to sick and sick, we break, but no, got nixed by the team. Can't believe it. The other song we wanted to come out to that I don't believe that we ever got okayed or snuck in was a song by a very popular group named Aqua. I know some of you people out there be like, who's Aqua? Well, let me tell you, they have one of the best one-hit wonders of all times. And it is Barbie Girl. Let me tell you, this movie Barbie looks like it is going to be an adult version of Barbie. It looks hysterical. This is another movie that I have no expectations other than just to be funny. They just dropped a new trailer. I think it was today or yesterday. I know it's Thursday the 6th, so somewhere around that time. I hope you have gone out and just watch the most recent trailer. I think it dropped on the 6th. So watch that trailer and tell me you don't watch that trailer and think, why is this person in this movie? You will say that at least 2 or 3 times, looking in the background at other characters who are in this movie. I think this is actually going to be a funny movie. It will not get its roses until it hits streaming services because nobody is going to go see this movie in theater. So
yeah, you probably
Barbie,
right.
watch it when it comes to streaming services.
Or go watch it in theaters because it looks freaking hilarious.
I mean, I think it is. Like, I don't care how you watch it. I think it's going to be funny.
Yeah, for sure. So yeah, there's
You're
trailers
welcome.
that have come out this week, stuff that's come out this week. I think everything's gonna be either okay or really good. We had a little conversation about the Mandalorian beforehand and what we kind of wanted to hit on. For anybody that watched this past week's episode, you know, listen to this on Monday, it came out last Wednesday with all the cameos and stuff, man. I just appreciate that the actors that were cameoed in episode 6 of the series actually were in the series. And I mean, spoiler warning, I guess. If you haven't watched it, go watch it because it's awesome. Some of those cameos were amazing. One of the singer that was in it, I know she's not an actor, but I think she did a pretty decent job for not being an actor. And the guy that she was playing alongside with, obviously, is one of my favorite musicians / actors of all time. And I think he did a phenomenal job in the role that he was playing. And then the antagonist for the episode was an awesome actor too. So, completely enjoyed the episode. Sorry if you didn't like it. And I'm sorry for all those people that are really dogging on it. I don't know why you're dogging on it. It was fun. That's all I gotta say.
I like the episode. I don't think it was the best episode, but I don't hate the episode, but I don't love it either. My only issues with the cameos. With the cameos, I'm okay with it. I think they're fun. I think they're great. But I'm thinking of the whole world picture is that they're there. They're a one-off. I don't think we're ever going to see these characters again.
No.
And I'm thinking, why did we throw 3 cameos in one episode when they could have been spread out? They could have done something else. And I'm not saying, I'm not bashing the episode, and I'm not bashing the 3 people who were in it as the cameos. You know, I thought they did well. I did not like them. I thought they did a good job, but I was just thinking, why I felt like they wasted their wad on one episode for 3 cameos when I felt like they could have been spread out and used differently. Maybe, I don't know, but I just, but that's just nitpicky at that point in time.
Yeah.
Because I don't think it's a 10 out of 10 episode, but I don't
Oh,
think
no,
that they
no,
I don't
no.
think that they hurt that episode.
It
You know what I
was it
mean?
was for sure a filler episode. Obviously, the main storyline didn't really get a whole lot of anywhere. A couple things at the end, a couple things in the middle, but most of the story was just filler.
I mean, if you paid attention, you already knew how this episode was going to end.
Kind of.
from previous episodes, if you'd been paying attention through this whole season and what the quandary was for a certain group and how it was to be answered, you're like, oh well, it's already happened. But
Yeah.
for some reason, we the audience knows, but the characters don't know.
Yeah.
So, filler episode for sure. So
yeah, if you're not watching The Mandalorian, we will have an episode coming up here when probably actually almost right after
I was gonna say
this
I think it's
5-part
right
series
after.
ends. We will have an episode reviewing the entire season of The Mandalorian, and we'll probably have a couple guests on that episode. So look forward to that. If you haven't watched it, start watching, get into it. Let us know your thoughts on the show, and let us know what you thought of episode 6, chapter 22. I think it was a really fun episode, and I think the series as a whole is super fun. This season's kind of almost like a lull point, I think, for the show, but I think that it's going to have a high peak towards these last 2 episodes, which is really going to pay off and lead into some other things that are coming up. But we'll see what happens in the next 2 episodes, and we'll review it after we're done here with our 5-part series on rewatchable movies, which we should probably get into.
I know, Skylar. Sorry, brother.
Yeah, you're already like logged in your computer. You're already sitting there probably doing work, and we are just now getting into the rewatchable series part 2, The Mighty Ducks 2.
Y'all enjoy that? Yeah! Okay, well, so did they. Because they're still 3 points up, and we're 1 period away from defeat.
Well, if we can't beat him, we might as well keep our pride.
Jesse, that's not pride. Sure, when Dwayne roped that big oaf, part of me cheered. But guys, I've been there. I know how you feel. I wanted to cream that jerk that busted my knee when I played in the minors. And I really, really wanted to go after Stanson for that cheap shot. But you know what? My knee will heal. And if I become someone I'm not, if I sink to their level, well, then I've lost more than my knee. You understand? Yeah. We're not goons. We're not bullies. No matter what people say or do, we have to be ourselves. We're Team USA, gathered from all across America. And we're gonna stick together. You know why?
Because we are ducks, and ducks fly together.
But this week we are going to cover The Mighty Ducks 2, D2 as it is titled. One of my favorite movies, which we'll get into here in a little bit. It's obviously not on my wall, so it's not my top 10, but I always have loved this movie, and there's a main reason I've always loved this movie, which we definitely will get into. But let's start it off with a synopsis, a little plot. So here we go. An international competition for junior league hockey teams is being held in Los Angeles. Coach Gordon Bombay is picked to lead Team USA. He reunites the Mighty Ducks, the teen misfits he once coached, to victory. This time, crass sports promoter Tibbles tempts the Ducks to cash in on their fame in lieu of practicing. But the team eventually gets back into training and takes on Iceland and their violence-prone coach, Wolf Stanson. The Mighty Ducks 2. What a fun film. What a fun movie. Just all around. I'm going to say right off the bat that I think this movie is one of those that falls in the sequel is just as good or better than the original.
I agree 100%, man. I love this movie. This movie, I grew up watching it probably once a day with my sister. We love this movie. We watch this movie all the time. Just a fantastic movie. And I totally and full-heartedly agree with you on that statement that this movie is better, if not... is
just as good.
Just as good, if not better, than the original.
Yeah, 100% agree. Colton and I had a conversation in our pre-production meeting that the first scene of this film is the ducks, or not really the first scene, but when the ducks are getting back together
Yep.
and they're skating down the sidewalk, going to find all the other ducks to pull them together so Coach Bombay can get him and say, okay, here, we're doing this, right? The what was the team? The
Hawks.
Hawks,
The
yeah.
Hawks.
They are getting ready to trip the ducks with some wire they've run across the sidewalk, and Colton goes, "Man, these guys say like I can't believe the Ducks beat us last year, but they're like 10 years older."
These kids have
Like
like
they
physically
puberty hit them
matured.
hard.
There are Adam's apples. Like people
Yeah.
are developing, and it's just like, dude, like there's no way you can convince anybody. Even when I was a kid, I said that to myself. I was like, yeah, this is not a year apart.
The crazy thing is this movie came out in 94. The Mighty Ducks came out in 92. So it was only actually 2 years between, but those kids really hit puberty in between those two movies, and they grew up.
Yes, they did.
Yeah, and then you get Fulton coming out and just pretty much beating them up to get the Ducks through, which is fun.
They won't know what hit them.
Yeah, they won't know what hit them. The deepest voice you could ever give a freaking 14-year-old kid.
Who never hits that tone again for the rest of the movie.
Yeah, exactly.
Let alone anybody else.
Yeah, exactly. So, Colton, let's get into this. Initial thoughts on the film. What were you thinking after you got on watching? Obviously, we both have watched this movie probably 100 times.
I just wanna sing "We Are the Champions."
Oh yeah, get some Queen going.
Yep. Every time I watch that movie, I'm like, "We are the champions, my friend."
Dum 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 dum. I do love this. I do love when they are in the finals against Iceland, and the whole crowd is doing "We Will Rock You."
Oh yeah.
It's such a fun moment, but
I mean, I know there's a couple. I mean, I got some stuff for later on as we get going into this. So
okay.
yeah, I'm just ready to go, man. Unless did you have another question you wanted to lead in
No.
before we got into?
No, I'm gonna go initial thoughts. And I'm gonna say that most people know when we've talked about the Mighty Ducks before. When we've talked about our top 5 sports movies, we've mentioned a couple other times. But most people do know why I love this movie, and it's one of those things it's the same as the Goonies. It's been a part of my viewing history since I was a kid. D2 really more than 1 or 3, which I do enjoy the other 2. I really do. And the main reason is I was named after Gunnar Stahl, who is the forward for Iceland. I just think that this is one of those that, like I said before, falls under that better than the original, or at least close to. I've always loved the first one, but this movie just seems like it's one of those that just kind of overtakes the first one. You get the kids a little bit more grown up, a little bit more mature, playing better hockey, it's more physical hockey at this point, and you're watching them really play the game, and you're watching kids with talent playing a game that they love, and I've always just loved this movie. And then seeing all the little childish games they play, like when they're in the dorms and they're the feather and the whipped cream, or it's just super fun. I always think about that scene, but I also think about the scene from 3 where they have the ant farm and they release it into the other kids' rooms. It's just a feel good movie, and it's just wholesome, and it's just super fun, and I've always loved it, always enjoyed it, and I think a big part of that is because my name came from this movie, and it's always had a place in my heart because of that.
Nice.
Yeah.
I did know that. I do know that. So I'm not surprised that this movie does hold a special place in your heart.
I mean, his name is Gunnar with an A, Stahl, Stahl. My name is Gunnar with an E, Shaw, Shaw. So I mean, it's really really close, and I don't know why my dad decided that's what he wanted to name me, but that's what came up. He must have been in love
Sounds like
with
a
the
good
Mighty Ducks.
rocker name.
Yeah. He's radio. He should be a radio host someday, or maybe a podcast host. Maybe that'll work.
Ooh. Maybe like a 3-timer.
Yeah, I think he should do 3 of them, at least. All right, so let's get into a couple of the the hard hitters, I would call them. Favorite scene.
End of the second period, championship game, the locker room scene. I get chills, I get goosebumps every time. They're rattling off their
Ducks fly together.
Yes, that whole scene is just amazing. I don't know, just those chills of, the game and the sport and what it means to play for the name on the front of the jersey and not the back of the jersey. And I mean, that's just awesome. An absolutely awesome scene. I love it.
Yeah.
What about you, brother?
We talked about that on the phone also, how that scene really works out, and putting that in this episode, obviously, if you're listening, it is in this episode right here at the beginning. I think a lot of people would agree with me that the shootout is a really great scene. I think it's too short for what it is, though, especially after watching this time around. It's like the shootout could have been a little bit more intense. It could have been drawn out a little bit more. It kind of just flies by. You do get Kat's kind of moment in that point, which is nice.
Shiny moment.
Her one shining moment that she doesn't get through the whole movie, even though Coach Bombay says, you're going to get your chance. It literally comes at the literal last hockey moment.
The last opportunity of the game.
Which I think makes that feel good, but at the same time, you're like, she should have been in way before. Goldberg should have been pulled.
Oh man, there's a podcast right there. Why does Goldberg get the calls?
Why is he the number one? Why is he the number one goalie? But before that even happens, when they come out for the third period in their new colors, when they're wearing the white, green, and maroon, I think that is one of the scenes that really touches you because you've watched the first movie and you know who the Ducks are, and they come out wearing the Ducks uniform, and Hans has got those for him. He comes in at the end of the end of the scene Colton was talking about and says, "Ducks fly together," and I think that is just one of the things that really, really hits you because it's just touching. It's heartwarming, like you said. So yeah, those two scenes really, they're really close together, but I think they are couple of the two best scenes in the movie.
I agree, man. I got chills thinking about it right now.
Yeah. Do you have a least favorite scene?
Oh my gosh. Do I have a least favorite? I have least favorite moments.
Okay.
And maybe it's because I'm a sports guy and I grew up doing it, and I understand how it works and this, that, and the other, but the trash talking in this is just horrendous. Absolutely horrendous. How they, when we first meet Coach Wolf, he goes, USA's going down, and then that just shuts everybody up. Nobody says anything, and they're like, well, that's it. And I was like, what? Like,
he's an intense Icelandic big guy.
You don't mean to tell me that Bombay wouldn't have just sat up there with a mic in front of his face and spout something back? Come on, man. There's no way.
Yeah.
No way.
Yeah.
There's not an athlete in their mind that wouldn't have responded to that.
Yeah.
There's just no way. And the officiating in these, and I know it's a movie. I know it's a movie. It's in the script. It is literally in the script. But good Lord, man, the stuff that Iceland gets away with and that Team USA gets hammered for. I mean,
they're freaking whacking people with sticks and
2 minutes
cutting down their wrist. Yeah.
And then Portman gets ejected for essentially, there's what they say. They said intent to cause harm.
Yeah.
And I'm thinking, this dude wraps a stick around Banks's wrist and he gets 2 minutes for roughing. And I'm like, how is that not intent to hurt? What else does the man need to do?
Yeah.
Exactly. This is bull. I'm just listening to it. I know it's in the script. I know it. But as soon as they say it, I'm like, That sucks. Boo. I'm like, that's
Yeah, you
bull.
guys suck.
What do you call
Oh, I get
him?
it. I get that. I get that for
What,
sure.
what would be your worst scene? Do you have a worst scene?
Um, I would agree with you on everything you just said. I think even after you really mentioned it to me and I went back and watched it, I'm like, yeah, these refs suck bad. Um, but I would say there's one cringy moment that I've always it's like sat in the back of my mind is like that is just odd.
What's
And
that?
that's when Bombay and the team is out in the parking lot, out in front of the hockey rink with the burn barrel, and he has the cardboard cutout, and he goes, "This is a distraction, and this is a firing barrel. This is a distraction in a firing barrel," and he just like throws it in there and burns it. But there's really no, I mean, other than like this is the point where he's like overcome the fact that Tibbles is going to pay him a ton of money to be the coach of Team USA. This is how he's going to overcome it. I think they could have done it in a way better way. A pep talk. The team gives him a pep talk besides him giving them a pep talk. Something like more touching. I just felt like it was super weird for them just to like go outside with a barrel in the middle of a parking lot and burn a cardboard cutout.
So
It,
I'll say this. I know that I mean when I was in college we did a similar thing to this, and it's well documented in this something called The Last Dance about the 98 Chicago Bulls and Michael Jordan in that team.
Mhm.
And they take notes. One of the things is to to write down things that have held you back or things that you don't want anybody else to know besides a close intimate group. You read them and then you burn them. It is a sign of is moving on. And but I agree with you 100%. Scene completely different.
Yeah.
I think they should have done that a little bit more confrontational, but I just don't think that's the way Bombay is written, because I mean, this is a dude who was a lawyer and is like, I'm 29, I'm gonna go try to get in the NHL. Like, he was gonna figure it out on his own.
Yeah.
And they had the scene of him skating on the park on the beach.
On the pond.
That
Yeah.
was him. Yeah. Well, no, on the beach.
Oh yeah, yeah, on the
Yeah,
sidewalk. I
yeah. When
gotcha.
he's like, when he's having the like the realization that he was about himself and how he can make himself better and not how he can make the team better.
Yeah.
So I get the burning thing. Like, I get why he did it and where, but you're right. The logistics of it and how he went about it, I think it could have been done a lot better.
Yeah. I guess I see that more now. I guess I didn't even really think about, him really taking the time to think it through, skating out on the sidewalk on the beach. I completely forgot about that scene, to be honest. And I guess that was his
And like I
kind of
said,
like
I only know about
processing
the
moment.
burning. Yeah, and I only know about the burning of something like that, like the distractions. Like, I only know about that because that's what I've done that. So
Yeah.
we that was a couple team things that we've done. So
Okay. Um all right, so give me your favorite character or characters.
I'm gonna just say Russ Tyler. I thought
Russ,
Russ. I thought the addition to Russ was great.
the knuckle
Um,
puck.
the knuckle puck.
You ain't never heard about knuckle puck?
Everybody in their mind who watched this movie and had a hockey stick and a puck
Oh yeah.
tried the knuckle puck.
It's
And,
like the Adam Sandler golf swing. I
oh
mean,
yeah, for sure, 100%. Obviously portrayed by Keenan Thompson, which we'll get into later.
yeah,
Just a great role that he played as kind of like an antagonist to the guys on the team, just like, challenging them. I don't want to say bullying them to an extent, but challenging them to be better and, represent USA. Like, just because you have these jerseys doesn't mean you're good. Like, you have to earn that jersey. And
yeah,
he's like, I don't think y'all earned that jersey multiple times until they have their match on the blacktop. So I'm gonna
yeah,
say Russ.
yeah. I really enjoyed Keenan Thompson in this, and a lot of people probably don't realize that Keenan Thompson was in this movie until they actually go watch it and see see him and say, "Wow, that's a guy from SNL," right? I mean, that's what most people know him for now. They don't even think about Good
He's
Burger.
all that.
Yeah, exactly. But man, I think there's the Bash Brothers, obviously. I really love watching the two crazy teammates that just go out there to knock people around. And I love that Fulton Reed has the just like knuckle puck, but a straight on shot, right? It's just that
He's
like
got a slap
bullet.
shot.
Yeah, it's that bullet that flies in there. Um, but I think I really would go with Ken Wu in this instance. I think
Ooh.
seeing the little guy go out there, the figure skater, right? Seeing him go out there and play hockey with all these bigger guys. I mean, hockey really is a big guy sport, and you get this little guy out there playing, and he's able to keep up with them, and he has these skating skills to go out there and actually get around, get around the ice, get around the rink, and actually play, despite the size that he is. And I like his character. I think another cheesy moment with him would be stick, gloves, shirt. Obviously, that is a very,
Mhm.
very cheesy way, and it doesn't really do anything to anybody, but it just the intimidation face. The little giants show me your intimidation face. It's kind of that feel
I
to
want
it.
to pump you up.
So I like Ken Wu. I think he's a fun character. But yeah. So Colton, I think we're gonna agree on this one. Unlike the Goonies. So why do you think this movie is rewatchable? Or is it rewatchable?
Yes, it's rewatchable, but I will say it with the stipulation.
Oh,
This movie, this movie is really good. Okay, I feel like though to really appreciate it, you have to watch all three.
yeah.
Have to. You can. I personally have to watch D3 now because I've watched D2. Do not watch D2 until you watch D1. If you've never seen D2, go watch D1 and then D2 and D3. This is personally, to me, this is the best of the three. But this movie is better when you watch 1, 2, and 3.
Yeah.
Does that make sense? So
Yep.
I'm not bashing it. I'm not saying it sucks. I'm not saying it's not good. I'm saying that this movie is better when you watch 1, 2, and 3
It's not
instead
a
of just
standalone.
watching
It's
2.
not a standalone by
Nope.
far.
There's so much carryover from the first one to the second one, and then from the second one to the third one. They all mesh together.
Yeah. So let's say this movie's on TV. Let's say you flip on TV, this movie's on.
Mhm.
You're watching it, right? You're gonna watch it. It's on there. You don't care. You haven't watched the first one in 6 months, but
Yep.
you're gonna watch D2.
I will.
Will you go back and watch D1 and D3?
I would probably just go to D3.
Okay.
I
You
wouldn't go
wouldn't
to
you
D1.
wouldn't jump back. You'd go to
I would
D3
go
just
forward.
to continue it, finish it out. Okay.
And then if I wanted to, I'd watch D1. But
Yeah.
I would go until I finished it.
Okay.
What about you, man? What are your thoughts?
Oh yeah, I mean, for sure rewatchable. And I agree with you. I think that to rewatch it multiple times in a certain period of time, you'd have to watch all three of them. But I think this one is the best out of three. I'm gonna say it's man, I don't want to say it's better than one, but it's just as good. You get every element. You get drama, you get comedy, you get action, and if you love sports movies, you're probably gonna love the movie because it's a good sports film. The commentators are fun to listen to. I mean, the guy they have commentating, I don't even know who the actor is that did it, but I think he's just got a good voice, and I think he's fun to listen to. And
Woo, Kenny.
woo, Kenny woo. Yeah, exactly. Every time he said Gunner Staw, I'd look over at Sarah, and she'd look back at me. I'd be like, "That's my name." I do. It's just fun. It's a fun family comedy, and you can watch it in any mood. If it's on, you're gonna watch it. It's probably gonna make you laugh. It's probably gonna make you smile. Yeah, it is. It's rewatchable, 100%, 100%, and that's why it's on our list. And look at that, we agreed. Sorry, no heated argument here, but we agree. So usually this next section would probably be our shortest section, but I think we have a lot of characters in this film, so maybe it'll last a little bit longer than I'm thinking. But so let's go over some of the characters. I know if you've watched this recently or you've watched one, you probably recognize a lot of these characters' names. You have Coach Bombay, Gordon Bombay, played by Emilio Estevez. He is obviously the coach of Team USA, like we said before. He played in the minors, got injured, and ended up having to come home, and ends up pulling together Team USA because Hans says, "I've recommended you to Hendricks, and Hendricks wants you to coach the team." And that leads into a whole bunch of stuff later on in the film where he is kind of brainwashed by the sponsor to pretty much make money and become rich through being the coach of Team USA. The kids obviously catch on to it at one point and call him out, and he realizes what he's done wrong, which is where Colt and I have talked about the skating on the sidewalk by the beach and kind of realizing what he did wrong, which leads into the burning the barrel, which leads into coaching the final game of the tournament against Iceland and winning. And that's the end of the movie. They do win the tournament, and you get to see a lot of people overcome some of the things that they've had to deal with throughout the whole movie. The other one I wanted to hit on was Miss McKay. She's the team tutor. I don't know who she's played by. I don't know if you have that up on Google right now. She takes over coaching for the Ducks at one point, actually.
Catherine Erbe.
Catherine Erbe.
ERBE.
ERBE. So she takes over actually coaching while Gordon is gone for part of a game because of him going out and actually thinking about what he's done wrong and why the kids are so upset with him. So it's fun to see her character growth from just being the tutor for the team and being their teacher to learning hockey and being a coach for part of a game and actually helping Gordon coach later on too. She's actually on the bench with him during the finals. So she's a super fun character. I think that she really helps carry the story along. I think that her character is almost as helpful as some of the actual players in some aspects, but you're leaving me a face that says, maybe not.
Yeah, I'm not picking up what you're putting down there, brother. I felt like she was there more for the team building of the I don't know if she would have helped the moving along of the story, but I think she was there more to enlighten and inform.
Well, I think on top of the players, she really helps enlighten Gordon and showing him that he's doing it wrong and he needs to do this better. So I don't know that I think if she wasn't there, if they didn't have the tutor, if they didn't have the person to show them the way besides their coach, I don't know that they ever would have had somebody to say, this is like, Gordon, the kids are tired. They need a rest day. You need to let them do their thing. And then, I mean, obviously he gets upset at that point in that moment. And then
I guess you're right. They're coming to meeting Jesus moment together. I guess okay, you convinced me. Okay.
Oh, look at that. I did it. I did it, everybody. She was actually important. We have reoccurring character Charlie Conway. He is the leader of the Ducks, I would say, in the first film. And he kind of comes into this one being less of a lead. I mean, he still is kind of a leader towards the beginning. He brings all the Ducks together, brings them back to Gordon. But he kind of like is on a wave the rest of the film. He brings Russ Tyler in after they play street hockey with the guys. And then he ends up, once Adam Banks comes back from his wrist injury, gives up his spot for Adam so Russ can still play. So he kind of is still like a leader, but I feel like he kind of works his way into a little bit of a side character towards that point. And you're looking more at Coach Bombay and his argument with Stanson and how that plays through the rest of the story. So Charlie kind of goes off to the sideline and plays coach towards the end of the movie, which is fun for his character to see his character do that. Obviously in 3 he goes back to being a hockey player and becoming the main character, but this one he kind of takes a sideline almost.
Team player. I think he's always been a team player. I
Yeah.
think that's something that has stuck with him through and through. Except for parts in D3. That's always been it's always been his foundation as team player.
Yeah.
And whatever is best for the team, that's what he's going to do. And he knew he wasn't going to bring anything to the table, and knew Russ could, and made a very unselfish play.
Yeah. And then, like I said, we have Adam Banks, who really is kind of our antagonist for the first part of D1. He's kind of the guy that is the main enemy of the Ducks, and then ends up having to become a Duck. And then in this film is just happy to be a Duck and wants to play hockey, and is looking for scouts so he can go play probably college hockey at some point, as I'm assuming what he's trying to do, and ends up getting the wrist injury and coming back. And I think he has a goal in the final match. I'm pretty sure. I know he hits his penalty shot at the end, but I've always thought he was an interesting character. Even in the first one, I always thought he was fun. But I think this one gives him a whole new kind of. He's more. You're more emotionally targeted towards him than you were in the first one, where you're just like, well, this guy isn't really a Duck. This movie, he is a Duck and he is a part of the team.
Yep, right. I mean, yeah, that's true. That's all I was getting ready to say, is that in the second movie, he is a Duck, and they take care of him and watch after him like he is one of their own.
Yeah, exactly. I'll hit on Averman real quick. He's just more of the comedic relief of any of the movies he's in. Just goofy, just a goofy character, fun to watch. I honestly would say Goldberg's kind of the same way. He's just a goalie, and he's just there to laugh at.
I mean, they have that scene before they play Iceland the first game when they're acting like they're commentating.
Yeah.
And they're going over like the scouting report and stuff like that. And it's just that's a great little scene.
Yeah.
And I think that embodies what their characters are in this series.
Yeah. Then we have Russ Tyler, who we've talked about, the kid with the knuckle puck. He is the street hockey kid that goes to all the Team USA games and talks trash to him until they meet him on the street and they go play street hockey with him. And then he becomes a part of Team USA. I love when they do the trick play where they put him in the goalie uniform and he comes out. Him and Goldberg switch uniforms. I think that's clever. In my mind, that would never make sense, but
you wouldn't have time. There's no way. There's no way. It takes a while to get goalie
pads on. Yeah, exactly. I just thought that was fun, and watching it, it's like that's kind of unrealistic, but it's still kind of a fun scene. And he hits his his knuckle puck and shoots a full rink shot,
like a 3/4, like a 2/3 rink shot.
Yeah, and just nails it. And then we do have Fulton Reed, who's also one of the Bash brothers. He is a recurring character. We talked about him in that first scene, obviously with the kids that were trying to trip the Ducks down. Played by Eldon Henson, and we're going to talk about that here in a minute. But I've always loved Fulton Reed. I think he's a fun character. He was always kind of the hard ass, but in this one, he's got a partner to do it with, which makes it even more fun. And then we have all of the team members that are from different areas. So we have Ken Wu, we have Luis Mendoza, we have Kat, we have Dean Portman, and Dwayne Robertson. And all these characters are just fun characters. They're all just people that are added into the group that have different abilities that make them good and or bad for the team. You got the figure skater, you got the kid with no brakes, You got the goalie. That's obviously better than Goldberg. You've got the other the goon, the other Bash brother, and then you got the cowboy. All just really fun characters. Really, really good to add into the team. And that's kind of all I got, other than Gunnar Stahl, who was just the Icelandic forward. And to me, I think he's just trying to get out there and play the game. But it's fun to see him realize that his coach is just kind of a piece of shit towards the end. So,
Yeah, he does. He realizes like this dude is not a nice dude.
yeah, exactly. So yeah, there's a boatload of the characters. A boatload of the characters from the film. It's filled full of actors, and it's filled full of characters, and a lot of cameos, or kind of random cameos and odds and ends things throughout. But Cole, do you have anything you want to add on characters? Anybody I forgot to mention?
I mean, yeah, you forgot to mention Guy and Connie, but I mean, those two
Oh,
are just
yeah.
love interests for each other who just happen to be good at hockey. And
They didn't really do a whole lot in the film.
no, they didn't. I mean, Connie got saved by Dwayne,
Yep.
and Guy is Guy, and
Yeah.
just there, fill up the roster.
Fill the roster.
I mean, outside of that, I think you got everybody.
Yeah, I mean, I could have hit on Stanson or the other, the tutor or trainer for Iceland, but they didn't really have a whole lot going on with them. But overall, I mean, a lot of the characters are just they're already fleshed out from the first movie, so they didn't really have to do much to tell us who they were and all that good stuff. But I think they do a really good job of introducing the new characters also. And then the whole training thing with Hans and Luis, where Luis is trying to break in front of the cans and just keeps crashing through them, which pays off when he actually breaks during the finals and gets the goal. Yeah,
Snows the goalie.
yeah. So let's hit up on a couple actors, and then we'll close it out with some final thoughts. Actors: Emilio Estevez, who we know has been in a ton of stuff. Charlie Sheen's brother, Martin Sheen's son, was in The Outsiders, The Breakfast Club, St. Elmo's Fire, Young Guns, Maximum Overdrive. Did a bunch of movies. What'd I miss?
Mission Impossible. All 5 minutes.
All 5 minutes of it. Love Emilio. Love him in the Ducks. I'm not a big fan of the show. Right.
Let's save that. Let's save that.
Okay. But I will say that I enjoyed his character in that.
Let's save that one.
All right. Then we got Joshua Jackson, who plays Charlie. He was in Dawson's Creek. He was in Fringe, Scream 2, Ocean's 11. He's been in pretty much a bunch of random stuff. Nothing really huge. Didn't play a big role.
Nothing big outside of maybe Dawson's Creek is probably.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, and Fringe. Character. I don't know if you ever watched Fringe, but it's a really good show.
Okay.
Really good show. You should check out a couple episodes, see if you can get into it.
Oh.
My mom and dad loved the show. I loved the show growing up. It's really
well.
fun.
If anything is coming from recommended from your mother, I'm going to say no right off the bat. So,
why is that?
The disrespect that your mother gave me on the last Two Sop episode is words that are worth fighting over. So, you know what, Team Boogers, I think you've got to fight now. So watch out. Keep your head on a swivel, because I'm coming now. Nobody's off limits. Punches will be thrown. Haymakers will be landed. And one of us will be laying on the mat looking up thinking, why did I say what I said?
You should call her at work. Really?
I don't think I could do
Really? Really? You're going to say that to me on your own podcast?
I don't think. If I knew we were going to pick up some showers, I would go. But I think we just picked up a bunch last week. I would so go just to quote unquote cause a scene and see what people say.
Oh God, she'd probably be laughing so hard.
Gosh. I don't know if I get. My problem is that when I'm messing with somebody, I have a hard time keeping a straight face.
Yeah.
and I lose it. Like as soon as I see him, like I could have this whole thing planned out in my head, and I walk up to you and be like, "So," and then I go, and
That's
then
my
it's
problem
done.
too.
It's just like it's done. So, yeah, Bobby, I heard what you said,
She did say
and
love you afterwards.
I don't care. You're dead to me.
It would have been way funnier if she said love you, brother.
Oh, it would have been so much fun. It would have been so much funnier. I agree. She missed an opportunity there.
She did.
Anywho, okay, yeah, sure, whatever you say, you know,
Okay.
whatever they
Yeah,
recommend.
check out Fringe. And then we have Eldon Henson, who played Fulton Reed, obviously Daredevil as Foggy Nelson. He was in the Hunger Games, Mockingjay Part 1 and 2, and he was in the Butterfly Effect. Not really a whole lot of other stuff he's been in, but we love Foggy Nelson.
I did not know he was in the Hunger Games until the second movie, because he's a little bit more active in that movie.
Yeah.
And I was looking at him, I was like, dude, that guy looks so familiar. And I was like, is that Fulton Reed?
He's got the beard. Doesn't he have like a beard and like his hair is kind of long?
He's got a beard. He's got a weird haircut, and
Yeah.
he's a mute. He had his tongue cut out by the Capitol.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I think he does sign language to speak. So yeah. But I remember watching that movie in theater and thinking, man, I think that's Fulton Reed. And then on the way home, I think it was IMDb and like who that was.
Yeah. And then you get him in Daredevil, and you're like, "Yep, that's Fulton Reed."
Yes, it is.
Yeah. And then we've already talked about Kenan Thompson. We've actually already mentioned SNL, Good Burger, Kenan and Kel, all that, right? All that.
Oh yeah.
Lots of. Is that
Oh,
Nickelodeon?
Yeah, Nickelodeon. I mean, mostly TV shows, from my understanding, right?
Yeah,
So
pretty much. Which is okay. He's super. He was a lot more fun on SNL in his early days. I think he's kind of just like the same guy every time now, which is okay. I do love watching him. I think he's got a really fun persona that he plays, and then the actor that you wanted to talk about, which I actually wasn't going to put in it until you told me that he was in Newsies and Rent, is Aaron Lohr, who played Portman.
he's mush in Newsies.
Yeah, Dean Portman.
Just a great. I remember when I first learned that, I went and actually rewatched Newsies, and I'm watching every scene with Mush in it, and he's a background, like he's a main side character, and he's got some lines, but I mean, you can't miss him. Every time I see him, I see Portman every time I see him.
Yeah.
So I thought that was really, really cool, and then I didn't know he was in Rent. I thought that was really cool to learn. So definitely. I have to watch now. That's another reason why I have to watch Rent, to see Portman in it.
Yeah. We're gonna have to do it. And then final actor I have on the list here is Scott White, who plays Gunnar Stahl. And I knew this for a long time, but I always forget about it. He was in That 70s Show. And he played in the episode where I can't think of what his name is in That 70s Show right now, but his dad is the owner of the plant that Red works at, and he's coming back to town to close it down. Well, this guy comes in, and he's got a crush on Donna. So they go, and they're sitting at the park, and Eric breaks his nose. But that's the episode where they have all the Star Wars references, and this guy's Darth Vader, and Eric's Luke, and I think Kelso's Chewbacca. It's just a funny episode to go back and watch. But he was in that, and then he was also in the Scream TV show. So he's done a couple different TV shows here and there. He's just always been a side character, but definitely a fun actor to watch, just because I know what he's been in. The Mighty Ducks was pretty much his start as an actor. Really, the Mighty Ducks was a start for most of these people.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, that's all I got on actors and characters. And Colton, do you have any final thoughts?
I think I'm going to end every one of these talks with this question: is if they remade this, would you watch it? I would say let's count them as being remade into the Mighty Ducks Game Changers TV show.
Mhm.
I'm going to, compile not just this movie, but the realm of the Mighty Ducks. And they did remake it within the realm of a Disney TV show called Mighty Ducks Game Changers. Have you watched both seasons? Do you like the series? And would you recommend it?
Yes, I watched both seasons. I think I liked the first season more than the second season. And to be honest with you, I probably wouldn't recommend it to anybody. I think if you love the Mighty Ducks, yeah, go ahead and watch it. You probably won't enjoy it as much as you enjoyed the movies. It's not great. I do like some of the characters in it. I think they have a lot of good characters are kind of all over the place, which gives a good chemistry between everybody. But I think it's just overly cheesy. A lot of the stuff is just kind of boring at some points. But yeah, I don't know that I'd tell anybody to go out of their way to watch it.
Because I didn't watch the second season when I found out what happened to Emilio. And I was like, that's the only reason why I watched the TV. That's the only reason why I watched it was because of him. I had no desire about anybody else, let alone remaking this. I thought that was just a bad decision altogether, was to remake this. And to only do it with Emilio in the first season, essentially. And then you have a couple throwaway lines and scenes with the original Ducks mostly.
Yeah.
In the second season, like, come on, like, just poorly done, poorly executed. I wish they wouldn't have touched it. I wish they just would have left it alone. It didn't need to be redone at all.
Yeah.
It didn't need it.
I'm telling you right now, Disney, never remake the movies. Leave them as they are. I don't ever want to see a reboot of the Mighty Ducks. Please don't.
Yeah, if anything goes to show you failed in making of the TV series, do not touch the movies at all.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. Okay.
I know Disney's listening right now.
Yeah.
Eisner's listening. So
Mickey's probably sitting there with his headphones on, listening to the Call Guys podcast. Oh, I told you. Oh. Sorry, Mickey. Bad impersonation.
Wasn't bad. Wasn't great.
I'm gonna say that my final thoughts on this film is that you should go watch all three of them.
Mm-hmm.
And let us know what you think of D2. And if you enjoyed all three of them, let us know why you love them. And if you didn't enjoy them, let us know why you didn't like them. And you know where you can send those recommendations / thoughts? thecallguyspodcast@gmail.com. Love to hear your feedback on the Mighty Ducks 2. Obviously, Colton and I both really enjoyed the movie. Really have always enjoyed the film. And we'll probably watch it again within the next 6 months to a year. I guarantee it. But yeah. That's all I got. Is that all you got?
That's all I got, brother.
There you go. Everybody, go watch it. Let us know what you think. Coming up here on the Call Guys, we've got a lot of fun episodes. We got to finish out this 5-part series. We've got some other fun episodes. Call Guys Go White Castle. Probably not going to be White Castle, obviously, but something else. The Mandalorian's finishing up. We got some movies that we want to go see. Just a lot of things that a lot of things in content that we can cover. So we're excited. We're excited to see what comes up. And Colton, if you don't have anything else, I'm going to get us out of here for the night so we can have a good Easter weekend.
Roll out.
Roll out. Everybody, thank you for listening to the Call Guys podcast. You can find us wherever you get your podcasts, whether that be Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Amazon Music, wherever you get your podcast. You can also check us out on YouTube. We do upload a video every Monday when we upload on all your favorite podcast sites. So go check us out on there, like, subscribe, click that bell. We are excited for anybody that listens, sends us emails, all that good stuff. If you do want to send us an email and, give us any recommendations for the question of the pod stuff for future episodes, things you want to hear us talk about, you can send those emails to thecallguyspodcast@gmail.com. And be sure to check us out on all your favorite social media sites. Facebook, facebook.com/thecallguyspod. Instagram @thecallguys. TikTok @thecallguyspodcast. All the information is always in our podcast notes. Please go check us out. And yeah, let us know what you think of the pod. We're always excited to hear feedback. Please rate and review us on Spotify, Apple Podcasts. And then when you're done listening to us, you can go check out all the other podcasts under the Golden Mojo Entertainment Network of podcasts. You can go check out the Golden Image Podcast. That's where me, the Skywalker, and Golden Jazzy J review, talk about, go to restaurants, breweries, wineries, bars, anywhere, play some putt-putt, go to museums, all that good stuff. We go there, so maybe you'll want to go too. We do reviews. We talk about things in Indiana or all around the Midwest that we go and do. And we hope that you can go check out those places too. Give local businesses some business. Or the Murdnerds, you go check them out. Facebook.com/Murdnerds. You can go. They are a true crime podcast that looks at unsolved murders and missing person cases around the United States and kind of all over the world. So go check them out. The Indiana Chiefs Fans Podcast, which is on hiatus right now, but we do talk about the Chiefs. And when next season comes around, we will be back to talking about the Chiefs. Also, Quarter Books and Booze. They are a basement book club podcast where they talk about the books that they are reading. They also, as Colton said, have a milk and cookies edition they put out every other week, hopefully starting soon. They have done their first one of that. It was really fun to listen to. So go check out A Quarter Books and Booze, and maybe they're going to get you to start reading a new book series. I know they love reading and they want you to read with them. So, and then finally, United States Paranormal Podcast, Facebook.com/United States Paranormal. Obviously, paranormal, cryptid, creepy, paranormal. That's what they're all about. Team Tejas is now defunct, so it is just Team Boozers. But guess what? Team Boozers puts out some good content, so go check them out. Give them some love. They are on the weekly now, just Team Boozers, and that's enjoyable to listen to. Colton's shaking his head because Mom told him to suck it. Sorry, Colton. So yes, go check out all those podcasts under the Golden Mojo Entertainment Network of podcasts. All of their information in our podcast notes. Yeah, we'd love for you to go check them out. Let me know what you're thinking of all the social media posts. If you like them, thanks. Please actually like them on social media and share them. Share. The easiest way to get us more viewers and listeners is to share those posts. We'd love for you to share them. If you see them, it's one click. That's all you got to do.
Are we teasing next week?
Oh yeah, let's do it. One of my favorite drama love story movies.
Here we go.
Yes.
This is the content people are going to be waiting for.
That's right.
Next week.
It is 13 going on 30. Colton, it's such a fun movie.
Be prepared.
It's such a fun movie. Be prepared. Let's see how it goes. It might be a heated episode. I've always loved this movie, so I'm excited to talk about it. Mark Ruffalo, Jennifer Garner. Awesome. So look forward to that. Colton, do you have anything else you want to add?
Love you, brother.
That's right. All right. Everybody out there in podcast land, we'll see you next time.
Later.
A Barbie girl in a Barbie world. Life in plastic, it's fantastic. You can brush my hair, undress me anywhere. Imagination, my visual creation.
Go my Barbie, let's go party.